DorkLair.
Welcome to the DorkLair Top 10 Action Figures of 2020 under $50. Be sure to check out my other video of the top 10 action figures over $50. And I'm just going to kick this off with a couple things that before I get into the proper list here. Like, for example, this is a product that was under $50, but it's not technically an action figure, so I don't see it being necessarily on the list. If I had to pick a product of the year, it could potentially be this one. This is the Mezco bag of skulls that they released on their Slugfest page in, I think it was in March or April. It was definitely like right in the meat of the quarantine. And to have like this inexpensive product, they gave you 12 skulls for $25, so it was a couple dollars per skull. And I just worked on my customizing skills while I was in quarantine, you know? And it was just really nice to have a nice bag of fodder like this, completely compatible with the Gomez bodies and a lot of the other Mezco bodies. You pop them right on. And there's like a little insert inside each one of these. You can see it here. If you pop that insert out, it's a little work, but once you get that out, these heads actually fit perfectly on a Mythic Legions 1.0 neck peg. So these are super, super versatile skulls. And really, I just had to get them in somewhere to kind of praise this product. The bag of skulls from Mezco, I got tons of them. I think I got 60 skulls. I bought one initially when they came out, and then I went on the wait list for 4 more because they had a buy 3, get 1 free. And so I just had a ton of skulls. I painted some, I sold some. I did a tutorial. You can look, I think it's this red one right here that I have a tutorial video on for a very simple wash and dry brush. And they're just a lot of fun. Very cool product. And kudos to Mezco for putting this out. A couple more items before we get into the list. First up is the boss fight Gazoj. That was an exclusive to Roma Collectibles eBay shop. And this figure is awesome. And it probably would have made the list if there wasn't another boss fight item that made it onto my list. Mostly this didn't beat that other one out because it's mostly like reused sculpt and stuff. It's sort of like their own Kit Bash character, which is the nature of their product. Like the Vitruvian hacks are all these interchangeable parts with clever reuse and stuff. So this is awesome. Gazoj, awesome release, incredible figure. It's kind of, because it was so limited, you can't really find it. And that's another reason I like to see my list as a bit of a list of recommendations. And it's hard to recommend a figure that's like selling for $100 now, even though it was a $30 figure. So that's why it's not on there. But I need to acknowledge it because it's an awesome figure. And then the next one is actually an update to my over $50 list that I had published before this figure actually came out. And this is Dr. Zaius. You can check out my review of the figure. This probably would have made my top 10 2020 over $50 if it had come out in time. It technically is a 2020 figure. I got it literally on December 31st, and I put my review up on December 31st. So this is a figure that's going to kind of get neglected because a lot of people won't have it on their 2020 list, nor will they probably put it on their 2021 list because technically it released in 2020. Okay, but this is an awesome figure. I highly recommend, if you're a Planet of the Apes fan, pick this one up. Finally, just something else to mention is the Wasteland Wave from Mythic Legions, which, again, it dropped it like December 31st, 2019. So it's technically a 2019 figure. But Cassia from the Wasteland, probably my favorite, like, just standalone figure from that wave. I loved Purplor because, again, like those skulls, it kind of, like, inspired me to get more into customizing. I did my first full custom painted figure because of Purplor. But just as a standalone unique figure, I really love Cassia. I love the barbarian style. So that one I wanted to mention as well. Another under $50 figure that could have potentially made my list if it kind of met the criteria properly. All right, and on to the list. Number 10. So first up on my list is the Boss Fights Mighty Steeds Socks the Horse. Basic horse here, I think, was $35, and then you have like the saddle set for $15. So I guess all in on what you're looking at right here is right about $50. But the basic horse itself is $35, so well under $50. Awesome figure for the price. This might have been higher up on my list if the joints were a little more sturdy. I find that it can be kind of tricky to pose and finicky and stuff, and I'm kind of like, once I get it in a pose, I just leave it. Like, I've had it in this pose literally since my review back in, I don't know, back in March. But yeah, socks, the Mighty Steed. They have a whole bunch of different ones. They got white, they got elk, they have different saddle configurations. They have like the evil saddle setup, or they have like the Roman saddles, and they have all different ways that you can customize your Mighty Steeds. But this is just a great innovative product from Boss Fight Studios, one of my favorite companies right now. So highly recommend. Still in stock, very easy to get. Great product. Number 10 on my list. And number 9. Next up is the Zika Toys General Spydrax from their Sectars line. And this is really just a recommendation for that product line. The card art, the figures, the details, the unique sculpts, all of the accessories, the swap out hands, just tons of awesome options on these guys. I love this line. It's kind of a little bit outside of my main collecting themes and stuff, but just to get a couple of these and mix them onto my sort of shelf of random 3.75, 1/18 scale type stuff is great. Awesome figures. And I do recommend getting one just to keep on card, because the card art, which I believe was Eamon O'Donoghue, is incredible. Just a great product. Awesome release. The Sectars from Zika Toys. And number 8, the Super 7 Ultimates Conan the Barbarian, based on the artwork by Barry Smith from the 1970s comics. This figure kind of hit right at the perfect time for me. I'm really into those comics right now. I've been getting all the omnibus editions and kind of checking those out as they release. And this figure is just awesome. I'm really happy with the Ultimates line and everything about Super 7. This was great. Just, a great reuse of that old Masters of the Universe classics sculpt and body, buck, whatever. And, he's got some real cool accessories. It just looks exactly like he did in the comics. Just an awesome figure. Great release. I'm very excited about Super 7. And I got to really praise the way they do their pre-orders. They do the made to order. All you got to do is order it within the month that they are up, and you get your figure. It does take a long time, and you do have to pay up front depending on if you order direct, but for the most part, it's just an easy line to collect, even if the wait is a little bit long. None of that like Target exclusive crap that is just driving everybody crazy. Fun line, and easy to collect. And number 7, probably one of the biggest hits of 2020, was the G.I. Joe Classified line. And this is one of those lines where you have these exclusives that are really hard to get. Scalpers are scooping them up. It's just become this scalper market for a number of the exclusives. But there are also a lot of good ones that are just readily available, like Destro, for example. Standard release. You were able to order it online, no problem, for quite a while. And I could have put Destro on here. I could have put Snake Eyes with all that crazy articulation. I could have put the Cobra Trooper on this list. Again, trying to avoid stuff that's impossible to find. I do recommend going out and pre-ordering the standard Cobra Trooper, though, because that figure is awesome with lots of different swap-out options. But to me, I don't know, just my favorite here is Destro. It still is my favorite in the line. The next one that I would say behind him would be the Regal Cobra Commander, is kind of up there for me, but yeah, so Destro, awesome character. They did a killer job just really capturing that look, and that is why Destro is my number 7. Number 6. Now, this one might be a little bit of a cheat because it is a $60 product, but one skeleton from that pack would be $30 equivalent, so that's why this individual figure right here is on my list, and I didn't feel like putting it on my 50-plus list because an individual figure is less than 50. So kind of a weird figure to fit in here. If that doesn't work for you, then knock it off the list and then just call it a top 9. But this is the Storm Collectibles Golden Axe Skeleton, and they've put out a few more versions of this actual figure. They have another 2-pack with the air quotes bloody version, and that's a sort of a pink look from the game. And then they also have this skeleton is packed in with a couple other figures like Motaro from Mortal Kombat, and then it also comes with, I believe, another figure. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. I think there's just 2 different Motaros with the figure. But yeah, so this is the skeleton. Awesome articulation, great paint and details. You know, it's got the weapons and the shield, and yeah, just a great figure. It's got a lot of different hand swap out parts and stuff, so highly recommend it. I think this one's starting to sell out a little bit, but you might be able to still find it close to retail. The Storm Collectibles Skeleton 2-pack is my number 6. Number 5. You knew Mando was going to be on the list somewhere, and probably my favorite Mando figure of the year, at least the sub $50 range, is the Vintage Collection here. This figure is awesome. I think it's equal to, if not even better, than the Black Series, and because of the Razor Crest and because I've just been like really getting way more into the Vintage Collection this past year, I'm pretty much all in on TVC Mando. So this figure is great. Very, very happy to be kind of working through this Vintage Collection line of Mandalorian figures. I just recently got in the Moff Gideon figure. It's just phenomenal. I know there's some paint variances and not every one is great, but I'm just having a great time with the Vintage Collection Mandalorian products. Number 4. Here we have a product that did not get a straight release, but it's readily available for like $20, $25 on eBay and stuff. Now this is the Agent Gomez Roach with the Golden Head 5 points figure that came packed in with the bundle over the summer that had the Golden Dragon Ninja Gomez. So it did come there, but you can totally get this for less than I think it would have been at retail. I think it would have been a $25, $30 figure at retail if they had released it. And you can get it easily for that much on eBay. But this sets the bar for 5 POA type figures. You have awesome paint applications, a whole bunch of accessories. He's even got the magnetized hoverboard here. So very, very cool figure. Awesome addition to the 5 points Gomez universe here. I'm loving the 5 points almost as much as I'm loving the other, you know, the 112 collective stuff. I know it's a simpler kind of thing, but they're doing what I've always kind of wished Super 7 would do with the retro figures, and that is having awesome, unique, very like crisp sculpts with detailed paint applications in that 5 POA style. Number 3. Now we're getting into our top 3. We have the Black Series deluxe version of the armor. I am sure that the regular version of the armor is just as good. And a lot of the stuff I like about this figure is the paintwork and the sculpt and the articulation. It just feels, for the first time to me, like almost like that premium action figure thing, where this almost feels like it could be a Figuarts figure or something. It just hits that premium level for me for a Hasbro figure. It is a next step up, and their new bodies and their new designs have really been a highlight of 2020 for me, and we're going to see that come back again with my number 1. Now my number 2 is, as you're seeing it here, a kit bash. But the primary parts of this kit bash are parts from Lord Draugool, the Masters of the Universe Hordak tribute from the Mythic Legions line. And the reason why this is my number 2, the reason why that Lord Draugool is on my top of my list here, number 2, is because of that kit bash possibility. This figure brings these amazing parts. There's so many good sort of red-black schemed figures that you can mix and match with Lord Draugool's parts to make awesome, awesome Mythic Legions figures. And here I have a Brother Mandibulus tabard, and then Fury Orc arms, and then most of the rest is Draugool. I think the top of the legs are also Brother Mandibulus, but overall, this just makes for such a cool option. And it just adds a lot of great parts to that kit bash library for Mythic Legions figures. And that is why Lord Draugool is my number 2. And my number 1 action figure of 2020 under $50 is the Black Series Teebo. This Ewok is phenomenal, and it took me by surprise. And sort of like my number 1 from my over 50 list, part of that is that surprise. It's like, wow, I can't believe how much I wanted this figure after I got it. And I want more. And this is part of the thing. I really want more Ewoks, and I hope they just keep cranking them out on this style. body, because this figure is incredible. The articulation is great. The paintwork, the sculpt, the fur is super detailed. He's got a lot of different little weapons he comes with, and then he's got all these little parts. I could even see potential for kit bashing, maybe not specifically with Teebo, but if they make a couple more just like brown generic looking Ewoks, you could probably have a lot of fun with that. And that's why the potential of this figure is one of the reasons why it's making it to the top of the list. Obviously, Hasbro had a killer year. I really loved a lot of what they did. Cad Bane could easily have made my list. You already saw the Armorer on there. Lots of great Mandalorian figures. But for me, the biggest surprise, the biggest hit, the figure that I've enjoyed the most, posing, messing around with, and I can't believe it's one of the best articulated figures, is being an Ewok, but that surprised me, and that is why Teebo is my number one figure under $50 of 2020. And that'll do it. I cannot wait to see what comes down the pike in 2021. Thanks for watching my video, and until next time, may the Force be with you.